Welcome to Vision 48 News. I'm Clay Webb.
And I'm Madison Stiles. Every year, NGU sends students on mission trips to Southeast Asia, South America, the Middle East, as well as here at home. This past summer, one light team went to one of the most unreached places in the world.
There's 1.3 billion people in India. 1.2 billion of those people are unreached, so 95% of the entire population is unreached.
In the city that we had gone to, there were about 3.5 million people, but all we ever saw was just one Protestant church. The Hindu religion has over 300 million gods, but this one temple, the main god in this temple was the monkey god. There were all of these monkeys everywhere, and they're not shy. And
the first little room that we went up, there was a god sitting out kind of in the open, and all these people were around it. And some people were just laid out on the ground. Some people were giving it offerings.
But there are also all these different other stations where people were offering incense to gods, or they were bowing down.
It was sad to see that people spend their whole lives just crying out to this rock that has no power. And it's one of the first times in my life that I've ever felt like like the presence of darkness. I wasn't scared, I wasn't terrified or anything. I was just heartbroken because what I felt is what they feel every day. They don't know about Jesus, they don't know about the cross.
I want people to know what it's like over there, to know the poverty and to know the hardships that they go through, but also to know that God is still over there and His light is still shining.
We worked with the local ministry there and just did a lot of home visits. There's a lot of encouragement with the believers within the church. We're not only learning different things in the classroom, we're taking it and applying it in the real world and in completely different cultures.
God can use any gifts on the mission field. It really doesn't matter what your gift is. It doesn't have to be a degree in missions. He can use you.
Family Weekend was this past weekend on campus, and a lot of students got to reunite with their families and spend time together. It was the perfect weekend to go hiking, biking, or play golf, or go see the school's musical murder mystery dinner show. And Saturday night, people tailgated outside the football stadium and later went to go watch the game. So I know both of us were at the game on Saturday and we beat Mars Hill.
Yes, this past weekend was a good time, and it was a lot of fun to meet a lot of my friends' family that came for Family Weekend. So Saturday was a great time, and then moving into this week, we have the Outdoor Coffee House Thursday at 9 p.m. on the sand volleyball courts, and then also Thursday at 9, intramural sand volleyball is taking place. And the past couple of nights out there, it has been rather chilly.
Yeah, it's definitely starting to feel like fall. It's about time to get those blankets out, those scarves out, those boots out. But I wonder if the fall weather is here to stay or if it's just a tease. Let's take a look.
Hey North Greenville, I'm Kirsten Martin. Let's take a look at this week's weather. On Tuesday, we're having the start of midterms, of course, but remember, it looks like we're really going to be seeing some great weather, great for studying outside and just really taking advantage of being outdoors in general. We're going to be seeing a little bit cooler evenings, and that's really going to continue throughout the rest of the week as well. Remember, on Thursday, we have our coffee house. That's going to be taking place at the volleyball courts at 9 o'clock. Take advantage of the nice weather and grab a cup of coffee and enjoy the fellowship with other students. The rest of the weekend, we're going to be seeing the same trend with cooler weather in the evenings. It's really going to be nice to take a break on Saturday and enjoy the soccer games that we'll be having. 1 o'clock starts the girls' game, followed by 3 o'clock for the guys. Remember, the trend is going to continue for the rest of the week, Sunday into Monday. That's this week's weather. I'm Kirsten. Back to you, Clay.
Thank you, Kirsten. One of the victims at the shooting of Townville Elementary School was Jacob Hall. Jacob, just 6 years old, passed away this past Saturday just after noon. His funeral is this Wednesday morning at 11 a.m. at Oakdale Baptist Church in Townville. 14-year-old Jesse Osborne was accused of the shooting. Authorities say Osborne drove to the school in a truck, crashed into a fence outside of the playground, got out, and started shooting. In court last Friday, he was charged with 1 count of murder and 3 counts of attempted murder. Vision 48 News will continue to follow this story and keep you updated once Osborne is on trial.
NGU's Presidential Search Committee is meeting to narrow down the applicants for our next president. Alyssa Ash has the update.
We as a board believe that God has got so many great things in store for North Greenville.
Our presidential search committee has been working hard alongside Carter Baldwin Executive Search in the process to choose our next president. We interviewed members of the search committee, students, and faculty to see what they think about this ongoing process.
Jesus' first commandment is to love him and to love others. And a pastor is responsible for shepherding the souls of his church members. And so I think that if we have a pastor as our upcoming president, he'll be able to nurture and love on the souls here like he does his own church.
So I want him to be a strong academic president. Being a university president is really challenging because you really have to do a million things and do them all well.
Different groups at North Greenville have been included in the presidential search.
I do think that the alumni of North Greenville University have been represented well. I am, of course, an alum and the director of alumni engagement, so it was very important to me that the university poll and look at our alumnus and all the alumni of the university and just talk with them and see what it is that they want in a new president.
We only have one staff representation, we only have one faculty representation, we only have one alumni representation, and then only one student representation. And it's been a pleasure getting to know them and getting to work together as a team.
Out of 52 applicants, the Presidential Search Committee hopes to announce our 8th president by next spring.
At this point, it becomes about fit versus qualifications. Because if you're in our top 9 or 10, you're qualified. It's just, are you a good fit for North Greenville University?
The committee will be narrowing down the applicants at their October meeting. For Vision48 News, I'm Alyssa Ash.
The first vice presidential debate is being held tonight at Longwood University in Virginia. Tim Kaine and Mike Pence will be going head-to-head at 9 p.m. This coming Sunday, October the 9th, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton will be facing off again in their second presidential debate. This debate is taking place Sunday evening at 9 p.m. in Missouri in a town hall-style debate.
A New Jersey transit train slammed into a station in Hoboken Thursday, killing 1 and injuring over 100. The cause of the crash is still under investigation. However, inspectors did find dozens of violations regarding the transit safety. Federal regulators were preparing a consent decree that would take immediate steps to address the safety issues. No dysfunctional signals have been found, and nothing has been found on the tracks that would have caused the train to crash. Investigators are expected to be on the site this week.
To bring joy to our campus, our social media team went out and complimented their fellow students while catching their reactions on camera. We'll be right back after this break.
The goal of Pray for Me is to give students a chance to pray for something other than themselves, because so often we mostly think about ourselves when we pray, but this will give us a chance to pray for issues that we don't even think about every day. Just show up, take time to show up, even if you don't feel comfortable praying out loud yet. Just by giving your support will be what keeps this group alive and thriving.
Okay, so pretty much the project is to do things that we find beautiful. So I think he's a beautiful person.
Aww, thanks.
Alright, so pretty much the project is we're doing things that we find beautiful. So we think you're a beautiful person here, so we're taking a picture of you.
You're too much.
Alright, we're taking things that we find beautiful. So you're beautiful. Alright, so pretty much what we're doing with this project is we're taking pictures of things that we find beautiful. So we think you're a beautiful person.
Thank you.
Alright, so pretty much what the project is all about is that we are taking pictures of things that we find beautiful. So we think that you're a beautiful person.
Aw, thanks.
Alright, so pretty much the project is that we are taking pictures of things that we find beautiful.
Thanks. That makes me really happy. I've already cried twice today.
From tennis to football and every fall sport in between, Crusader Athletics had a very busy week. Let's toss it to this week's sports.
Hi North Greenville, I'm Christian Nathy with your Crusader Sports Update. The women's volleyball team took on fellow Conference Carolina opponent Leeds McRae College this past Friday night. The Lady Crusaders grabbed their third Conference Carolina win for this season. Winning their first 3 sets, a junior out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, Kinsey Pierce, led the Lady Crusaders with 17 kills, and senior Madison Poe contributed 42 assists. The women's volleyball team has now improved to an 11-4 overall record. Their next game will be on October 7th at Hayes Gymnasium as they face the Limestone College at 7 p.m. This past Saturday, the Crusader football team faced the Mountain Lions of Mars Hill and won the game handily with a score of 56-21. The Crusaders had 518 yards of total offense, while the defense scooped up 2 timely interceptions for 12 yards. The Crusaders quarterback Will Hunter went 12 for 18 and threw for 186 yards and 2 touchdowns. One to wide receiver Mason Sanders and for a 36-yard pass, and a 21-yard pass to tight end / punter Bobby Foose. The Crusaders are now 3-2 as they look forward to a 3-game road streak starting at the Citadel at 2 p.m. on October 8th in Charleston, South Carolina. The women's and men's soccer team visited Bristol, Tennessee to take on King University this past Saturday. The Lady Crusaders lost to King 5-1. Lindsey Tootin scored North Greenville's only goal at the 52nd minute of the game. This brings the Lady Crusaders to a 2-7 record on the season and an 0-5 record in Conference Carolina play. The men's soccer team also had their own challenges against King University as the Tornado would go on to beat the Crusaders 8-1. The freshman out of Eastside High School, Matthew Woodington, scored in the 62nd minute of the game. This drops the Crusaders to a 1-5-1 record overall and an 0-4-1 record in Conference Carolina play. The women's and men's soccer teams are next matches a doubleheader starting at 5 o'clock and 7 here at Pepsi Stadium against Emmanuel College on Thursday, October 6th. Both teams are looking for their first Conference Carolina win this season. The men's and women's tennis teams took on Mars Hill College last Saturday. The Lady Crusaders opened their season with a 5-4 loss against the Lions of Mars Hill, while the men's tennis teams for the Crusaders opened their season with a 5-4 victory over Mars Hill. The next match for the men's and women's tennis teams are here in Tigerville, South Carolina, facing the Trojans of Anderson University, starting at noon on October 7th. And that's all for North Greenville Sports this week. Stay tuned right here to stay up to date on all Crusader sports. And remember, you can watch all these upcoming games and more at North Greenville Sports Network. I'll see you next week, North Greenville.
Thank you, Christian. That concludes our broadcast for this week. Thank you for joining us here on Vision 48 News. I'm Clay Webb.
And I'm Madison Stiles. Tune in again next week to see us live at 5.
And if you can't wait that long, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, and YouTube for the latest news.
See you next week, North Greenville.